I can tell you, I know you were there. No one ever checked our ID. No one ever. You flashed that little ticket, little piece of paper. I could have shown him anything. Nobody really looked at it. And I'm going to give a little plug for the Las Vegas Convention Center. You're registered for a convention. You're registered for something. There's all the tables by the alphabet. You come. You have your name. Are you registered? You got your ID. And they tell you your table number. You show your ticket. It's not rocket science. And so this is a small crowd compared to a lot of the crowds we have back in my hometown. So there was not enough security on the outside. And then, of course, that room is just packed. So to the point is everyone's detailed. We're all standing on the perimeter. Again, not the safest thing. I'm not in law enforcement. I am grateful for the men and women that were there, whether they're Secret Service, Capitol Police, hotel security. Everyone there did a great job. Nobody was harmed, and I'm thankful for that. But we might not be so lucky next time.
Yeah, Senator, I really appreciate that. And you're absolutely right about the security protocols which were in place. It was a rather much of a pain to get to the venue, as our colleague Simone will tell you. She's in gown and
I took a scooter right on up to the front.
Scooter up to the front because she
shouldn't have been able to do that.
Right, couldn't get up front. But once you got inside,
I see you in a gown and a scooter.
Oh, it was I want to see the photo on that one. But the reality of it is, once you got in the building, it was a different conversation.
Correct.
There were layers of folks mixing who were there for the event. Those who were guests at the hotel.
That's right.
Couldn't really distinguish in some cases. So you did have that part of it. And so I really take to heart what you're saying there. I think it's an important note, and there will be, as there should be, a greater dive into that process and the protocols going forward. I want to focus, though, on one of the things that I raised with Michael Feinberg in the last segment, and that is the president's push and justification now to all of a sudden layer up and put on the table a rationale for something that he never expressed before. In other words, now we need a ballroom because of national security. Well, in the reams of paper and conversation and articles were written about this thing, that has never been layered up or leveled up in any way that was the reason for this, first off. Second of all, what does it say to you that that's the lead off for the President of the United States after a very, very personal, traumatic moment?
That's right.
The First Lady's face captured in that one moment, that still of shock on her face, witnessing what was happening. And the President's response is, give me my ballroom.
Well, I can tell you that he always turns everything to himself. And this is not about a ballroom or an auditorium or any place at all. It is about how people in the public sphere treat each other, how they talk to each other. And your prior guest, Michael, was very clear, as you were, about how we take our lead from those in the public sphere. And with so many public spheres now, there didn't used to be those, people really have to pay attention to how they're talking, how they're expressing themselves, and how they're treating others. And so that the president's first instinct, instead of consoling everyone, we were all there. What about the few minutes of silence as we dove under the tables? And that silence, to me, we didn't know if there's a shooter in the room, what's going on, but you knew if you made a sound and you popped your head up, you could be the one that took the hit of a gunshot.
And a point that Simone keeps making, you are a member of the U.S. Senate. We are journalists. We understand the risk that we have taken with those professions.
6th,
but what I want to also say is there were servers, right? Like there were people who were in the hospitality industry.
There was a woman who I was holding.
Amen to our hospitality workers.
There was a server next to us who,
That's right.
because we were literally, they were picking up the plates because we was about to have dinner.
That's right.
And they come running in, and she hits the ground with us, and she's shaking and crying.
Right.
And Ali Vitale and I are consoling her, telling her it's going to be okay.
Right.
We ain't know it was going to be okay, but
I have the same thing.
I am grateful that it was. That it was.
Yeah, I'm grateful that it was, and how all of this happened in such a close space. That remains to be seen, but it is not about a ballroom. No matter what anybody says, it's not about a place. It's about how we treat each other. It's about how it comes from our leaders. When people talk about destroying civilizations or calling people names, normalizing all of these things, we should not be doing that.
Right.
We should try to work, none of us perfect, but we should try to talk about the issues and try to hold ourselves to that standard. And the president
has failed at every turn.
well, yeah.